welcome everyone. This is second episode of my podcast. I don't even know what to call it. Might be the Slobber Shower podcast. I don't know, but we'll get there.
It just might be.
And have a very important and good friend with me. Good guest for the show, and this is Morgan Marshall.
Hello.
So Morgan and I have been friends for a very long time, since I was probably 14 or 15, and I used to sneak into his house and wake his ass up when he was cutting school. So.
Yeah, which was often. Yeah.
Welcome.
So this isn't like some Patreon shit. This isn't behind a paywall. This is just a regular episode.
Oh, no.
No, I thought I was gonna get a taste of the back end on this.
No.
Oh man,
this is not a prize fight.
So this is a raw deal. This is bullshit. It's good to be here, man.
Yeah,
you got a good setup.
Little backstory in my garage here, but we haven't seen each other in probably 5 years. It's been quite a long time. So, in fact, we were talking the last time I saw him. He was doing a stand-up comedy show at Fog Belt Brewery in Santa Rosa. So.
Those were the days. Yeah, we had a little comedy program out there, and on my last day on the job, and one of my last days, even in California, like totally, it kind of bitched out because had it been a disaster, like I was already planning on skipping town. You know, like this sort of thing where like your comedy is bullshit and we all hate you. Like be like
and stay out.
Yeah. No, the deuces was already established. Thankfully, it didn't shake out that way, but
Got it.
But I was prepared for it.
Okay. Yeah, no, it was a good show. Anyway, so we've been good friends. We haven't seen each other in a long time. What perfect opportunity to put our debaucherous ways on camera and film, and it's actually working. It's not shutting off on us every 10 seconds. So.
Yeah, how about that? Yeah, we've overcome technical difficulties to bring whatever this is to you.
Technological differences.
That's right.
So you're studying to be an EMT.
I am an EMT.
Yeah,
actually,
you are an EMT. Excuse me.
Yeah, just recently went through a career change, which is uncommon for dudes in their 40s. But thanks, COVID.
Yeah.
I'm one of the many people that was able to sort of shift gears and, get a new career as a result of... I want to say really all the opportunities that lockdown and, like the unemployment plus up and everything. Sure. I took it as a chance to get a new game. Like I said, I'm not the only one. People look like, oh, nobody wants to work at Burger King. Like the real result is that like a lot of people took that chance to like refine their hustle.
Interesting.
And,
I haven't had that experience the way maybe you have in a different portion of the country. Morgan lives on the other side of the country, but
right.
Maybe that has some bearing on it.
I think all the shittiest jobs remain unfilled because a lot of people had a chance to actually get certified. Had an opportunity to learn a skill or go to school or do whatever and actually do something that's not as soul crushing as customer service, which is what I got out of.
I work at Amazon.
Oh man, and that's definitely not me. Looking down my nose at anybody who works at these restaurants.
You mean looking down your nose? You said
Amazon.
You work for free.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm a volunteer. Yeah, no, exactly. Could you imagine? Like me just trying to. Meanwhile, giving my labor away for free in this market.
Jesus.
So I'm the biggest sucker of all. But no, it's been great being an EMT.
That's good on you, man.
It's also growing up in Northern California and being in this area. It's always been the case, but since it's been perpetually on fire for the last few years, like ever more so that like. Yeah, man, first responders, that's the shit. Always had, the sort of enormous respect and then, would go and fetch ketchup for people or do whatever it was that I was doing. And, it was always good work and there's nothing wrong with it. But just for me personally, always kind of had that little thing of like, I could be doing more, like I could, I could be a little more prideful. I could be more of a force in the world, and that's like, I don't have kids, like that's the big factor, like once you become a parent, like, no, your job is clear. You were already a force in the world, like
Sure.
yeah, you got your shit outlined. But for me, just like dipshit bachelor, just kind of going around, it's like, all right, well, I have the opportunity to do kick-ass things, like
Right? Doing kick-ass things as a bachelor in their 40s is actually like the new... That's the new hotness.
Well, time will tell on that one, ladies. Uh, yeah, we'll shop it around, see what sticks. It's hot, but everybody knows that EMTs are broke as shit.
Right.
So yeah, that's absolutely gonna undercut any gains.
You touch on something. We grew up in Sonoma County together, and maybe it's because it was more agricultural or more rural, or there was more forest around. But I feel like that firefighting, EMT, like we had there was just a huge program where we grew up, but it was always... I knew a ton of people that were doing that at all times. Like, where we grew up, I don't think it would be the same in the city. Maybe I'm wrong, but
no, I mean,
like where we grew up, there was a lot of that.
Yeah, 100%. Well, it's kind of a cultural thing. So mostly when we're around, the more rural that you get, the more your emergency services are staffed by volunteers.
Got it. Okay.
It's tough to earn a living, out in the cuts as an EMT or a firefighter because there's so little going on that it's hard to justify a paid position. There's captain, like people do it for a living out in rural areas, but for the most part, the people that are going to show up in the fire truck or the ambulance, they're probably going to be volunteers. And so culturally, you got to make it worth it. And if you're not going to give anybody money, to do the job, the least you can do is give them cachet because that's for free. And so, like, when we're from where we're from, yeah, everybody's really into it because, like, propaganda is the wrong word, but it's kind of like, yeah, no, this is what you do because this is what we need you to do,
right,
you know? You get into the city, and yeah, there's no cachet. People won't break for you when you're crossing the street. No one gives a shit, but at least you get paid for doing the job.
Yeah, you'd be surprised if they can hear the lights in the the lights and the sirens in the city.
Oh, they hear the lights and sirens. They just don't care.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah, no, they know exactly what you're doing. But yeah, it's been really rewarding, really enriching.
So what's the most exciting thing you've done while being an EMT?
The most exciting thing I've done, driving the ambulance with lights and sirens, is actually like just mobbing around the city, just like, yeah. The first time you ever do that, it's a rush.
Okay.
Like,
is there like I know it's above the speed limit, but there's an unspoken rule: don't go this fast, or are they like?
Yeah,
fucking...
no, 100%. It's safety first. Like you want to get there, but
85.
Exactly. No, I've never gone. More than 80 was like the peak speed that I went on. First of all, ambulance, they don't go that fast in the first place, but
gearing.
But you can't always count on.
I'm not calling you out, am I? Did I just make you lose your job?
No, not at all. But it's funny actually. I always thought that it was the law of the land everywhere that, like, oh, if you see an emergency vehicle approaching with lights and sirens, well, you need to pull over to the side.
Yeah.
That's not true in all 50 states.
What?
It's true in Pennsylvania, but yeah, there are drivers on the road that are just like, lights and sirens. Good luck with that. Sure as hope.
What? That sucks.
I think, and most of them,
Have
again,
they never
are
had
generally...
like a pregnant wife or like fucking someone bleeding that needed to get to the hospital? Like...
Right? Yeah, I don't know if it's a liberty thing, but it's just like not necessarily the law to move over. And as I've been on this road trip, actually, as I enter new states, one of the first signs that you see in some states is state law. You must move over for emergency vehicles.
Really?
I've seen like half a dozen of them just driving out here from Pennsylvania. First it says, like, welcome to Montana or whatever, and then the next sign you see, state law, you must pull over for emergency vehicles. It's not like that everywhere.
I need to get out more.
Yeah, I guess Montana was gorgeous.
Yeah.
It really was.
Well, and I keep my wife's in-laws are traveling. They're in Tennessee, and I'm like, that's in Hurricane Alley. Like no, like move north, move north.
Yeah, but then you get blizzards if you move up north, and if you move west, you get earthquakes. You know, and if you know, like, what do you want? Hurricanes, tornadoes, blizzards, earthquakes,
I can put on a jacket
wildfires,
for blizzards. Yeah, Jesus.
Uppers,
these
downers, reds,
wildfires,
blues,
man. Oh my God.
screamers, laughers,
Screamers,
poppers, zippers. You know, there's no winning. You know, once you realize that there's no place that's completely safe, then you realize that everywhere is equally safe, and you can move wherever the fuck you want. You know, you just gotta accept some risk in life. Yeah.
Indeed. So, what's the shittiest thing you've had to do on the job?
So, there was this one call that we got. It was dispatched as respiratory distress. You know, which is generally an ALS thing, advanced life support for paramedics.
Okay.
But so it was me and a paramedic, and they were on the second floor. It was a woman, so we went through no elevator, narrow flight of stairs, down this dark hallway into the apartment, and the apartment opened up into the kitchen, and there was a woman about our age, you know, sniffing position they call it, you know, like hands on the knees, just kind of like, you know, respiratory distress. She was kind of like at a bar stool up on the kitchen island.
Okay.
Next door was a kitchen counter, and on this kitchen counter there was like a pizza box, and it was open, and so I looked, and there was fucking pineapple on the pizza, man. It was disgusting. Like, I almost threw up. And it was like half a pizza. Somebody ate that shit. Like, it was the worst thing I ever seen. And it's like, yeah, you got to go into people's homes and like see that shit. It's terrible. Like, it's yeah, no. I was doing a bit. Yeah. You sure this isn't a Patreon thing? Like, that's solid gold.
That was
like
worth
a lot
it.
of people want that.
I'll give you 3 quarters. Not a full $1.
Yeah.
3 quarters.
Yeah, no, that's solid podcast gold right there. That was my bit in honor of Norm Macdonald. Yeah, but
Good old Norm.
No, the worst thing
Turd
I ever had to
Ferguson.
do. It's an oddly phrased question. The worst thing I've had to do, you know, like I signed up to do bad things, you know, like and so
Most
it's tough to do.
severe,
And
the one that stuck with you the worst, like the one that keeps you up at night. I don't know how to say it.
yeah,
without
no.
being like,
The,
oh, you're traumatized, but you know.
you know, the big one. So, you know, like I haven't really been traumatized yet. Actually, I'm still pretty green. You know, like I've seen bloody things and gross things and people in pain, and I've seen people suffering, and you know, like. It's
good.
been, you know, like it hurts you a little bit, but it also, you know, galvanizes you, you know, and says, oh, look at this, you know, like human being that needs help, and I'm the one to do it. And
In the face of adversity, am I gonna fight or flight?
Yeah, 100%. You know, and so, you know, I don't like seeing people suffer. That's why I got into this, you know, and so. Even though I'm more likely to see people suffer as a result, you know what I mean? So it's that catch-22. There are, so yeah, this isn't my original thought, you know, but in emergency medicine, people talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly, you know, and so the good is when you have a positive outcome, when everything works out, miracles do happen, there are good calls, and you have like really human moments, and everything's fine, and you know, you were able to help out, and you know, like you just walk away from, you know, a call feeling happy. That's not the majority of calls. And then you have the bad, that is the majority of calls, and those are just bad things, you know, like, man, this person got really hurt in a car accident, you know, this guy overdosed on fentanyl, whatever it is,
Person
you know,
fell and broke their leg in half. And
yeah, it's bad. It's all bad. And you help these people out, and you can improve the outcomes and still walk away feeling good. But, you know, objectively, you have to look at it as, you know, that's a bad thing. The ugly are the things we do to each other. That's the elder abuse. That's the child abuse.
Ugh.
That's the sexual assault. That's, you know, the ugly.
Yeah.
And so EMT, much like teacher or nurse, it's a mandatory reporting job, you know. And
Got it.
I was not expecting it to come up as often as it already has, you know. the way that people get mistreated. You know, the worst thing that I've had to do, I had to do with a very negligent nursing home. You know, and I don't want to get explicit because trust me, it's not entertaining. I'm not holding out on you. But yeah, to the point where like I had to report a nursing home and be like, okay, yeah, these guys are not even doing the bare minimum of care, you know, and you see the state that some of these people are in, and they're not all bad. There are good assisted living facilities. This one out there, which shall remain nameless, is not one of them, you know, and actually trying to navigate that was probably the worst thing that I had to do.
Yeah, that's brutal. Like, I think of EMT as like guy at a ballpark that stands there and helps someone if something bad happens, you know, like it. Mm-hmm. I don't think of like, oh, elder abuse and, you know, having to deal with like some profiteering asshole that's trying to run a nursing home.
No, 100%. 80% of, ambulance calls are for the elderly.
Okay.
And which makes sense when you think about it, you know,
sure.
like that might not have occurred to you, but yeah, obviously, you know.
Well, I didn't even realize there was a difference between EMT and a paramedic.
A huge difference.
Yeah, I just thought they were the same thing.
Yeah, I'm a rookie. EMT is an intensive course, you know, and there's a lot to learn, especially if you want both state and national certification, which I got, you know, and so there's
national. I didn't realize it was.
Yeah, it's called the Nremt, so that's the national.
Interesting. Okay.
Registry of EMTs, you know, and they have their own cognitive and psychomotor or skills test, you know, so the written and the demonstration. In addition to that, you also have to pass a test for state licensure, which state to state often have different standards. But, you know, for the most part, most people are just adopting the NREMT standards.
Got it.
Yeah. If you want reciprocity and be able to shop around, you have to do both those things. So I did both those things. But, yeah, I mean, I was in school for 4 months. You know, to be an EMT, you know, not that big a deal.
Yeah, I was going to ask how it's stacked up against the rest of your schooling.
Yeah, comparatively.
We went to college together.
Yeah. Look where we are.
Yeah. Garage. We haven't made it very far.
Stay in school, kids. But paramedic, yeah. There's that's like, well, it's a 2-year degree if you want to get a degree through college. But there are also very intensive certification courses. But yeah, 2 years compared to 4 months, is about the change. And paramedics, they're the ones that save lives. You know, like I mostly, you know, just like bandage, package, and deliver. You know, like
shake and bake.
Yeah, I shake and bake. But yeah, paramedics, you know, they're the ones that are going to administer medication. They're the ones that are.
Is that where you want to be?
Yeah, that's the plan, you know, but, one foot in front of the other, right. You know, no reason in putting yourself through 2 years of school if you're not already a kick-ass EMT, you know, so I'm focused on that. You know, I'm doing okay. I love it. You know, and I've had, some successes in the field that make me very happy, but I'm not quite there yet. So yeah, I'm just going to focus on just doing this for at least a year before I start looking at school afterwards.
So my hands have always shook. I'm not able to. Surgeon was never in the books for me.
Right.
You got a pretty steady hand, or I mean, are you going to be able to do those types of finite paramedic stuff when it comes down to it?
There's not a ton of surgery that goes on in the field, although yeah, you can, you know, do the crico thyroidotomy, or a quick tracheostomy, real quick, you know, like that's part of the skill set. It doesn't require a steady hand, and kind of like I was telling you earlier, when you're in the moment, when you think like you're gonna panic when you see a bloody mess or a burn victim, or if you just like feel like you're gonna be in this flustered emergency situation, it's actually pretty easy to remind yourself like this is not my emergency, and
And that's something they train you on.
You should certainly, and you can allow that adrenaline to actually work in your favor and calm you down. If you have a sense of how to channel it. I think the hands are steady enough, like trying to find a vein for an IV, or, like trying to do things. Yeah, that's precision work, and you would face some challenges, but I think you could do it if you were so inclined, I think there's ways to make it work, and sometimes you just can't get an IV. I've seen paramedics just, try to poke, and eventually you're just like, okay, on to the next.
Right.
There is a cheat for people, and again, this is paramedic stuff. This is all beyond my scope.
Don't try this at home, kids.
Yeah, exactly, precisely. It's all beyond my scope, but I have had a little training in that. So they have the IO drill, the intraosseous drill, the bone drill. The bone drill will set you up. So if you
drill like soccer drill, like we're gonna practice something, or do you mean like?
No, I'm talking about a fucking drill into your bone, and dispense medication directly into your marrow if you can't find a vein. And I trained on it. They give you like this little plastic baby mannequin with this fake bone, and you find the sort of triangular process on the tibia, and you drill right into the bone. And then attach a catheter and administer medication that way. If you can't find a vein, that's one thing. But even old Shaky McGee over here, I'm sure you could find a bone. People love it.
Yeah, that sounds like fun. So I'm at my mom's birthday party this weekend, and this guy Ed, he was an ex-fire chief, grizzled, old conservative man, and he apparently his arches fell.
Okay.
So he needed to fix it. 3-month recovery surgery. They splayed him open on both sides of his foot and like moved shit and took bone from up on top and like, oh God, drilled big ass screws through it. I was like, dude, that did not sound like something. I would walk funny.
Yeah,
like,
fuck that.
Yeah. Well, and like, that conservative beer drinking man, he was kind of like, I don't know that I would do this again if I had to choose. Like, I was like, damn.
That's thankfully we don't have to do that in the field.
My mom's grizzled. Grizzled, that's not the right term.
Grizzled is always the right term. Yeah. I want to bring grizzled back.
Grizzled, old Grizzly Adams.
I'm working on
becoming
grizzled.
On it.
Yeah. I'm working. Yeah.
I think the bartending probably did more grizzling than the EMT work, though.
Yeah. No, I've definitely could look better than I am right now if it weren't for my misspent youth. But I wouldn't change a thing.
An overactive, idiotic lifestyle.
So many stupid things.
So what's the most recent stupid thing? Mine is just making a fool of myself online.
Oh, fair enough. I guess.
Stupidest podcast on YouTube.
So I guess that would make this podcast appearance the most recent stupid thing that I've done. If you want to get technical, I don't know. Like, yeah.
I said answer, damn it.
well, that's fair. I'm not being coy. I'm genuinely trying to think. I haven't done too many stupid things lately.
It sounds...
it's more of a gradual stupid lifestyle that I've had.
Absolutely.
Where drinking too much, smoking too many cigarettes, and it's not like, oh, you should have seen the night where I drank so much. It's just like, that gradual, like
taking any one night out of it wouldn't have mean that much. But if you compound 500 of them in a row, now you're talking.
Exactly. Yeah. No. So my whole life is pretty stupid. And would make that the latest stupid thing.
Yeah, I hear that. Yeah,
but the EMT thing has been helping with that
good
too.
For you, man.
Obviously, I'm sober the whole time for that. I'm not fucking around with that. That would be ridiculous.
Not in question.
No doubt. And it's long shifts. Like you're working 12, sometimes 24-hour shifts.
Wow.
And
for free.
Yeah, yeah, giving away my labor in this market. Actually, that's the stupidest thing I've done.
No, you
lately,
know what?
But it's well worth it.
That's my online mentor says to do that very same thing. He's like, don't be that fucking douche canoe that's charging $500 to be like, I'm the next motivational speaker. Buy my online course and you'll learn how to blah blah blah. Give all your content away for free. Give it away for free, and just dump out a ton of it. And then when you don't have to introduce yourself, then people will come to you for business. But
Right.
just flood the market, and he does great for himself, and it's great. Like, so that's kind of the whole process here.
Except for this episode, which is Patreon paywall.
Right? Yes, absolutely. There's a paywall,
fucking,
folks. Paywall.
Stitcher Premium. Fucking.
His agent has not left me alone
Yeah.
all night. Oh
No, I didn't fucking volunteer for this.
EMT, I will stitch your ass up, but this, fuck no, I'm getting paid.
No, but yeah, it's been good. Arrested Development, such as it is, I'm a grown ass man and should have put childish things away long before. But yeah, I've finally gotten to a point where I have.
I don't know, man. Like listen, I had to have kids super young. Like I don't even think we were super young, but around here we're the babies.
Yeah, sure.
Like there's people that put their career on hold for 15 more years than we did.
Mm-hmm.
And I had my kids when I was 27 and 29, and I feel like I'm the baby where I live. Like our good friends, he turned 59 this year, and he's got kids our age. Like that's a huge spread. Yeah, love him. I mean, good friend of mine. But
and that would suck. Could you imagine, like,
he's turning 60 and he's got a 12-year-old.
Just try to like walk your daughter down the aisle and you're just like this shitty old man. Like that would be hilarious. Just like embarrassing.
Well, his dad was a little older. Not like that old, but yeah, I mean.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
My parent. How old was your dad when he had you? My dad was like.
I don't even know. Well, no, he was actually. I do know. He was.
My dad was 36, 37.
Yeah, my dad was 34. Yeah, and he had me.
So older. I mean, that's 5 to 10 years older than most people.
Yeah. Yeah, I figure this whole EMT showing up in an ambulance thing, it's a good way to like score a free kid and not have to deal with any of the bullshit. Like, if there's kids around, you can just grab one.
Right. I mean, 7-Eleven or whatever, their parents aren't paying attention. They're buying lotto tickets. You just grab them.
Right. Yeah, no, everybody's upset about something, or we wouldn't be there in the first place. Like everywhere I go, it's a baked-in distraction, and yeah, I can just.
Could you have your buddy like dump you off around the block, and he'd turn on the lights and distract everyone, and then you could like run in there and grab the kid?
Yeah, we could work that out. Okay. Yeah, there's real money in that. Yeah.
Oh wait.
Oh, we're going to have to bleep that. Yeah, we're going to have to put that behind a paywall.
Patreon, folks. All right. Yeah, no, it seems very similar what has happened in the pandemic for us. Like, I had a very stable job for 13 years. I knew it was on its way out. It was waning, but it was a good, stable job. I was making 6 figures. I was doing good. And as soon as the pandemic hit, he was like, you're out. I don't need you. Made me reshift everything and reevaluate and, like make some hard life choices. And I made them, but came out on top, like definitely made a choice for my family that was the right choice and did what I had to do. It's a good feeling.
Looks like our recording stopped.
Oh, movie recording stopped.
We back on? We got this going?
So
that looks like it.
That's recording still.
So it is. All right.
Yes.
You were saying.
Yeah. So I made a shift during the pandemic. Started my own company. Really got it off the ground. I've been doing it for a while. On my own for 2 or 3 years, selling internet circuits and phone systems and whatever you want, and just being a general IT consultant. Went out on my own during pandemic, and it's worked out really well. So.
Love it.
Yeah, just a very big paradigm shift from what I'm normally used to doing. It's good to see it. You wear it well.
Oh, cheers.
I'm out.
That's womp womp. Well, then cheers would be bad luck. So what I meant was,
Fuck off. Yeah, I get
eat
it.
my ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the whole thing. Yeah.
We were driving home from my mom's house, and there was
I thought you were gonna be like, oh, that reminds me of when I was eating.
no, there
ass.
was a 1982 like old school bus, like a small, the short bus, but it was painted black, and it said "I eat ass" as I drove by it. And I was like, I have kids in the car. I'm not going to repeat that. Like,
Well, fair enough. They got to learn sometime, though. You're not going to teach your boys to eat ass.
I mean, they're 11 and 13, so no.
Yeah, I mean,
Not at least 3 more years, okay?
Hey, look, somebody else is going to teach them if you don't.
Wait,
That's
don't
what I'm
they
saying.
need a permit for that?
No, not yet. Okay, if Biden had his way.
Yeah. So, okay. Transition. Hang on a second. You said that it's not about whether you're paranoid, it's about whether you're paranoid enough.
I didn't say that. You said that.
I did say that. It actually came from the movie Strange Days.
Oh, yeah. That was a good movie.
It was a good movie. But you have a somewhat less than optimistic outlook on society and its current trajectory over the next 20 to 50 years?
I do. Yeah, I do. It's the hot take for the audience is that things are bleak. I think everybody has, a pretty dim view. What I would say is that I can imagine a bunch of different scenarios happening, not all of which are bleak, but I also don't plan for the best case scenario, and
Sure.
I don't think anybody else should either. Basically, like, climate change is real, folks. I don't think any reasonable person is denying that anymore.
Well, then there's a lot of unreasonable people out there.
Well, there are, which is another reason to feel bleak. And actually, those are two issues that are colliding. Which make things really troubling. No, it used to snow in Philadelphia. It doesn't anymore. Just a couple weeks ago, Hurricane Ida hit New Orleans, maintained power over land, and killed 50 people in New York. California's perpetually on fire.
Yeah.
Everything is collapsing. It's not a fluke. And if you look at the IPCC reports and everybody, they're exasperated. They say, not only is the Paris Climate Accord trash and insufficient, but we're not even meeting those benchmarks. We are not responding fast enough. When you look at American government, and this is a global problem, but America does lead both in emissions and, also as a global power. When you
Lead in emissions, not emission control, but emissions.
yeah, I believe so.
Makes sense.
I mean it's a home to industry. I don't know that America leads in emissions. I would actually quote that. I'm definitely not here as an expert, but the latest stat that I heard is basically the top 100 corporations are responsible for 71% of the global emissions.
I would believe that.
And everything is being framed as a moral failing of the individual, that when climate change does hit, it's because Johan
I
didn't
didn't
recycle
put that
well enough.
extra can in the bin over there.
It's because
God
of that
forbid.
time that you put a battery in the trash, and meanwhile,
Amazon is now
right. No, they're
the Amazons of the world. I don't mean Amazon. Maybe you're a great company. I don't know.
oh
But
fuck Amazon.
exactly.
No, and which. Well, Amazon represents another crisis. Amazon and Bezos itself aren't necessarily the problem, but you look at the economic crisis that we're having right now, which is like a crisis of the spirit. When we were growing up, there was a downtown, and there were stores, and you could go to a record store, you could go to
Crisis of the spirit, huh? Okay.
a comic store or whatever you wanted to do. Then Walmart's opened up in the suburbs and Targets and things like that, and downtown started to die while everything moved out there, and then Amazon moved everything online, and now everything, all economic growth is being displaced, and all money is being taken out of every community and put in a singular pocket. And so
Right.
it's just this wealth extraction machine that's just draining the economy. And people out there got fucking nothing. People got
not only-
nothing, and their conditions are getting worse.
And they're not even awake enough to realize that they're in this trap,
Well, I mean,
if it would even matter.
a lot of them are, and they still, keep using Amazon. Like I'm not gonna be preachy. There's no way. I have an iPhone. I can't say shit to anybody. Like it's
Right.
tough to. They say there's no conscious consumerism under capitalism. Like you're either in it. I could go live in a fucking yurt and
Right,
live
right.
off the fat of the land, but that wouldn't help anybody.
Well, what did you say earlier? Hippies are extinct, buddy.
Yeah. No, war's over. The bum's lost. But the point being is that while people's material conditions keep worsening, the environmental conditions also keep worsening.
Okay.
The divide, it's well noted, in America, this balkanization that we're looking at, state to state, red team, blue team horse shit, keeps us at each other's throat, which I believe is by design in our two-party system. All of these things that are all reaching a crisis point, any individual one feels like a solvable problem, but the fact that everything is happening all at once, it accounts for the malaise, across the world. And
Sure.
I don't think that as a government or as a society we have the apparatus to fix these problems before they get to crisis points. And even if we did,
Our current track record of solving problems has proven quite otherwise.
Right. Yeah, we just don't have the appetite to solve problems, and even if we did, it takes a long time to steer a battleship. We can't get there. I feel like it may already be too late. I hope not. And best case scenario is I look like a reactionary idiot, and people look at this podcast and be like, "That fucking guy."
Right.
That would be great. Like nothing would make me happier. But
So what happens next? I mean, is there just a general dissolving of societal norms from here on out? It's all down. Like there's not going to be ebbs and flows, or is it just gonna?
No. Well, I mean, I think it's an aggregate effect. That we've been seeing our entire life. Like, since we were born, there's been newscasts, and you'd say, okay, people in Corpus Christi had to evacuate for a hurricane, or this building collapsed, or, there's a wildfire or whatnot. Any individual circumstances is like, yeah, whatever, that's just the news. But over the past decades, that shit adds up. There are millions of people in this country who has suffered some sort of displacement, some sort of trauma, some sort of things like that, to the point where we have this permanent underclass. This is totally anecdotal, but when I've been driving around city to city, I have actively noticed more tent cities in each of these places that I had visited before. And I saw one in fucking Rohnert Park, California.
Yep.
At the Park and Ride, this is the aggregate. COVID exacerbated things, but it was trending in that direction anyway, because these crises are naturally going to happen.
Yeah, but just like you and I taking advantage during COVID, so did those people that seek to exploit the situation. Like,
Sure. I mean,
I would assume that, if you had to draw a line down the middle for tribalism, those people on the other side, they're going rampant. Like,
well, 100%. And like drawing a line for tribalism is exactly what I'm talking about, because basically we have a crisis of unhoused people, and or that soon will be. And if the climate crisis goes unmitigated, which it clearly will, there's going to be more and more unhoused people for a variety of reasons.
Sure.
Now, I believe that everybody, whether consciously or just in their lizard brains, just in their subconscious, understands that we're at a crossroads, that Western society has to make a choice. They can choose between egalitarianism, help these people out, improve the material conditions. That would require taking a little bit out of your bowl and putting it into theirs. It's not a popular, stance, but is what I believe is the right thing to do. Or the other option, which is barbarism, where you throw up walls, and protect your fucking resources and say, I got mine, Jack, and there's barbarians at the gate and you can't reason with a starving person, and so you fucking fight them. And as not just America, but the entire world slides to the right, and you look at like Bolsonaro, Erdogan, Modi, Johnson, all these shitheads, not just Trump, people that are running to embrace, shitheads like these, that's why, because whether they can articulate it or not the way that I am, they understand, like, no, it's time to throw up walls and protect your shit if you're so inclined. Now, I definitely prefer the first choice where, like, our shit isn't that great anyway, just share, just feed these people. Like, what's the issue? We can get through this, but... that's never been the popular position. I've never spoken for my peers. That's for sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's the Nremt argument would be, how long can you take from people that produce and give it to people that consume? Eventually, there will be no more producers.
Right. Well, in a crisis thing, well, first, I don't believe that.
Right.
There's always going to be producers. If I told you, like, hey, you're never going to make $1 billion. You're only going to make $800 million. Would you stop producing? Fuck these people. Fuck Ayn Rand.
Of course.
No, it's I mean, it doesn't make any sense. It's not fair. I agree that it's not fair.
Right.
And there's something elemental about unfairness. Well, life's not fair, and it's certainly not government's place to make life fair. That's beyond their talents. They can't do shit, When I talk about, feeding these people, it's not going to be a government action. They can't even pass legislation. Like our government is done. It has been. It's
there's no saving that sinking ship.
The whole way our government is structured is to amend the Constitution regularly. We haven't amended it since the 70s.
Right.
No, people are literally not doing their job. You look at the...
and keep getting richer not doing their job.
Imagine that. This division and this tribalism, everybody's getting rich off that. You ever wonder...
That's what I mean. It's by design. They're gangbustering that shit. They're fucking profiteering off of it. They're redistricting. They're gerrymandering. Sure. They're steering. They're doing whatever the hell they can to get away with it. And,
I mean, you ever wonder why our rights are always on the knife's edge? So take the Texas abortion business. Right now, Roe versus Wade is not legislation. It's a Supreme Court ruling. It's an interpretation of the Constitution. Sure. It's not law. The Supreme Court is not there to legislate. Congress is. If you really wanted to codify abortion rights, you put them shits in the Constitution, right. Amend that thing, or talk about guns. I know you and I are both pro Second Amendment.
Yep.
But rightfully people look at it and say, like, all these commas are weird and the sentence just doesn't make any fucking sense. Rewrite it. Do your fucking job. Amend the Constitution. Democrats are constantly wringing their hands about voting rights. Okay, Saturday elections. That's going to solve 90% of your problem right there and would be insanely popular. Just put them shits in the Constitution. It's your fucking job.
What's it going to take? It takes one line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what the Constitution was designed for, was to be a living document and constantly amended, and people treat it like the nuclear option. And you wonder why, and the reason why is because these wedge issues, are totally, be it abortion or immigration or guns or whatnot, are all very, very, very important, and if they codify them, then they lose that, and people will vote. People will no longer be held hostage to vote for red team or blue team,
right.
And meanwhile, it's this duopoly wealth extraction machine,
when you see the red and the blue team is the same side, then they lose.
Yeah, we're all arguing about abortion while they're picking our pockets, and not addressing the crises that we've outlined. So, I don't know, man. The future looks bleak. I hope
feel
not.
like it looks more bleak in our generation than it did for our parents' generation?
Well, 100%. Yeah, no, this is this is a moment in time. Like with the
Worse than
aggregate
Vietnam?
has reached a
I
tipping
asked my
point.
mom this. Like, do you think, how does this stack up to the crisis that they had during Vietnam?
I mean, I don't know. I wasn't there. So yeah, I won't claim to answer that, but I do think it's a different thing. I mean, Vietnam was horseshit, obviously.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't think even.
I don't mean to put you
even
on blast
in this
either.
day
I
and age-
just
no,
did.
no, I didn't feel that way, but yeah.
I always try and have some not empathy is not the right word, but like at least a grain of salt in my head that says that we didn't create political corruptness. We're not the first generation of politically corrupt.
No, certainly not.
It's been around for millennia.
Agreed.
So,
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, it's well documented. Yeah.
like is it going away now? No, it's not. It's going to be here for like you may think, oh, it's bleak. I just think no, it's just more of the same. Like.
Right, except post-industrial, this climate crisis, it's happening.
As soon as they can figure out a way to make a profit on it, it'll disappear. If the next thing,
I hope so.
I
hope so. I don't see that, but I hope so. I mean, it's not electric cars. As long as we're still burning coal to make electricity, you can suck my electric car.
Yeah, right.
You've got to fucking figure it out.
What I mean to say by that is the powers that be, the Bezoses of the world and the Rockefellers, as soon as they figure out how to monetize green energy, then that will be the next big thing. And then look, we're the bastions of saving climate change because money. They're not gonna fucking care.
Yeah, but the IPCC,
what do you mean the IPCC? What does that mean? Environmental Protection.
The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change.
Okay.
They're the ones who release annual reports to the UN.
Okay.
And break down like, hey, this is our scorecard. This is where we're at. This is where the projections are. It's hundreds of scientists, all just crunching the numbers. None of which have some weird pandemic agenda,
right.
like it's
not the Illuminati or some
it's
cabal.
about as legit as science gets. Sure. And they've repeatedly saying, hey, we need to slash, emissions by X amount, in order to keep the global temperature from rising 2 degrees Celsius, which would be not necessarily like an extinction moment, but like would
an irreversible
absolutely
slide in the wrong direction.
Yeah, would create precisely right. Yeah,
or it will trigger an ice age or some other large global effect will happen. And I mean that's the argument is that we just knock the world into a global ice age, or something.
Yeah, very well could happen. And yeah, like I said, I didn't come prepared to cite sources or quoted or anything. Yeah. I encourage people to check out the IPCC if they haven't.
Info and numbers now.
Yeah, right.
Jamie, fix it. Come on.
Right. Yeah, you'll get your stats on Patreon. Yeah. Yeah, they've been pretty clear. Like, if we don't do X by 2030, then we're boned. And we're not even close to doing X.
No, it's still way too much grip.
Right, and so yeah, I do believe that maybe there will be a technological solution, or maybe everybody just totally commits, to carbon recapture or whatever it is. But
I see what you're saying.
But that should have happened yesterday. Yeah. There's a threshold. 1 degree Celsius can do wonders. So the polar ice caps act as reflecting mirrors for the sun. If they melt even a little bit, that's raises the temperatures. These things, have a way of starting a chain reaction.
Puts more water into
the
the air,
dying coral reefs start a biodiversity crisis. It's supply chains. Where does all of our fruit and vegetables come from? California, it's on fire. There's all. Not only is it just hey, we got to keep the temperature down, but there's all these little fires,
secondary actions,
if you will. That.
Still don't get it.
Things are trending poorly is all I'm saying, and hopefully we fix it. But I would encourage everybody.
But again, it's not about hopefully we fix it. It's about our current track record has not proven us in a very good light.
Right. So to bring it full circle, no, I'm not optimistic.
Is it like a, or is it like a?
Yeah, and in the end, does it really matter? You know, like,
Guess not. Depends on how far from the blast radius you are, which depends on how prepared you are.
right, exactly, and which kind of depends on whether you want the egalitarian society or the barbarian society, and obviously it's going to be the barbarian society. Like, that's fine. Like I said, our government is not capable of dispensing anything or reacting to that anyway, but they know how to throw up walls and you know, flex on people. And I think most of the, you know, like MSNBC crowd, you know, like most of the you know, liberals out there, you know, like, definitely would be like, well, yeah, egalitarianism. But the second their Netflix gets cut off, you know, like, they're going to be, you know, barbarians like everybody else.
Or the second their gated community is the one getting broken into.
Exactly. Yeah. No, they're going to run to a strong man just like everybody else. You know, and so, yeah, it just sucks. You know, there's a lot of reasons why I got into becoming an EMT, but one of the big reasons was I wanted to have a skill set for the future, for a future that I can envision. Anyway, you know, to have, I can imagine a world in my lifetime that doesn't need restaurant managers, that needs EMTs, and hopefully it doesn't come to that. But
interesting. You think it's that bleak? In our lifetime, you think it'll be to the point where society will dissolve?
I hope not. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I can't forecast like that.
Plan for the best, prepare for the worst.
Exactly right. You just don't plan for the best case scenario, but we're already there. Like, this isn't speculative.
No, and maybe I'm in a different position because I was laid off, but one of the things that I pulled out of COVID and the pandemic is I'll be damned if I get caught with my pants down again.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what I'm hearing is like, plan for the best, but I'll be damned if I get caught with my pants down again.
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to happen. So, yeah, and I don't know that everyone's preparing for that. I don't know that everyone's taking it as soberly as they should be. You know, people are ready to just go back to happy-go-lucky, you know, soccer on Sundays and, you know, play with their kids. Like,
yeah, no, 100%. And take all the climate stuff out of it. You know, we're still in a crisis. You know, we're still in a cultural crisis where,
and that's,
you know,
and that's prior to COVID. COVID just exacerbated it.
Well, exactly right. You know, like, it wouldn't seem as grim
just
as
pour a little virus on it.
Yeah, exactly. If it weren't for COVID, but like I was talking about, that aggregate effect that's leading the proliferation of tent cities, you know, in every community in America, like, that would be happening with or without climate change. You know, and that's still something that we would need to address, and that would still.
How do you feel about UBI or basic income?
You know, it's I've seen, like, the experiments that they did in Stockton and things like that. I like it in concept. To tell you the truth, I need to read more about it. But it's something to consider. You know, it's expensive to be poor. You know, what people did with just, like, little stipends and what people did with their unemployment plus ups or whatnot, like.
You mean over the COVID? You mean?
Yeah, over,
it was
over
pretty
COVID.
intense.
You know, but you give somebody a couple $100. You know, like, the example that I like to use is, you know, like, if you're poor, you can't afford, like, a good quality $300 pair of work boots. What you have to buy instead is a $50 pair of work boots at Payless. And that's only going to last you a year. You know, and so you got to spend $50 a year on boots because you're poor, and that's all you can scrape together. You know, and you do that for 10 years. You paid way more for boots than you would have had you had $300 and had a pair that'll last you 10 years. You know, like, look at the proliferation of Dollar Tree and Dollar General. There are dollar stores on every fucking corner now, and those are designed to fuck poor people. You know, because you can buy a 20-ounce tube of toothpaste for $3, or you can go to the dollar store and buy a 5-ounce tube for $1.
Right.
And, you know, you just get fucked on the ounce math in every aspect of your life if you're poor. It's so expensive to be poor. You just get picked apart. You know, and what UBI represents, you know, is like, hey, buy the good boots, and that's one less thing. That's one less fucking subscription that you have to deal with in life. You know, like you can kind of check off that box. You don't think so?
No, I think it's you can buy the good boots, but you're leaving out the debauchery of a nation. You're by giving them that, you saying that it's going to cure everyone's woes and make everyone a totally well-mannered person.
No. Well, I mean, I wouldn't say that, but I do think experiments with UBI, like in Stockton, like I mentioned, and also, you know, they've done similar, you know, experience with like poor communities in Africa and stuff like that, where they give them all money and say, yeah, no strings, you know, do whatever you want, you know. Most people don't go and buy drugs or whatever. Some do, yeah, for sure, of course. You know, drugs are great. You know, subscribe to Patreon. We'll give you drugs. But yeah, for the most part, you know, in these rural communities, people like bought a cow or bought like a rickshaw or, you know, like
water irrigation,
like figured out ways to turn that money into more money. You know, for the most part, people do improve their material conditions, like the whole welfare queen narrative, you know, where it's just like, yeah, we want to help people out, but I saw that one lady buy a lobster with food stamps, so now nobody gets help. Like, what the fuck is that? You know, of course people are going to abuse a system. There's no system that can't be abused, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't try things.
Yeah, I guess that's where I have my bleak outlook, is on people and their ability to do stuff. But I mean, if I can change in the pandemic, why can't they? You know?
Yeah, and most of them did.
Yeah,
know,
it seems
like
to me that most
you know?
people, it was a wake up call for sure.
No, 100%. You know, and again, that's and the market will correct themselves, and people will run out of, you know, like the stimulus that they got over COVID. But yeah, for the most part, I think a lot of those jobs are going to stay vacant. You know, like for the Burger King thing, I think people really did take the opportunity and take the money that they got over COVID, which you could call a form of UBI, you know, and invested that in programs and certifications in school, you know, in like improving their lot in life, you know.
I just around here, it's not. I'm very insulated here in the high rent district, so I don't get to see that. Not the underbelly, but see the unshaved armpit of America, you know.
Sure, I spend a lot of time in that armpit.
Yeah,
you know, and yeah, it can be grim, but you know, like you also, you know, see people striving to do better, and you know, like like I said, there's miracles happen.
I was at my parents' house, right? So we had to go to the store and get ice and whatnot. I ended up going to Walmart. And there's a little girl standing at the cash register, and it's at the end of the cash register, like after you check out, and it's like an end cap of stuff, you know, soda, 12 packs or whatever. There's just like the stack of stuff. I don't know. Might have been little like Pringles single cups or some piece of plastic. Little girl just puts her mouth right on it. No parent around, no nothing. I'm just like, oh my God, kid. Like, ooh, top of the food chain here. Top of the food chain.
We're doomed.
Yeah.
We're doomed. No, that's that wouldn't even crack the top 100 dumb shit that I did when I was at kid's age. You know, like it will be all right. You know, but
this is the shit you learn on YouTube when you're making YouTube videos.
Have there been like, have you watched a lot of tutorial stuff, like how to make a YouTube video? Like I imagine that's a whole different, you know, like rabbit hole that you can go down. I bet there's a ton of them. Yeah.
Oh, and it's big money. Like there are plenty of people on YouTube that you can link in the description below, and you know, there's plenty of people out there that you can follow. I would dive into each of the kind of genres. So like I did one for film editing, I did one for sound, I did one for how to shoot a vlog style, and there's different people you can dive into. One for photography, one for videoing, one for which program to use. Like, is it Adobe After Effects versus this one versus, you know, like there's all that kind of comparo for everything. So you kind of think of skipping a rock, you kind of hit a couple of them, and you kind of might dive under the water a little bit.
Sure.
And that's the only way I can really see that I was able to do it. And I got to the point where I found a program that worked for me. It's called Movavi. it was $60 for a lifetime membership or
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
whatever. It was just my first try. It was just the one that I threw the spaghetti at the wall and it stuck, and I figured out how to use it, and it was way easier than looking at all these different combos. So I just started stitching videos together, and I just kind of found what worked for me. And so I didn't really do tutorial videos, but there is YouTube has a creator studio.
Okay, cool.
It's their we'll just not even approved videos. They're sanctioned videos, the ones that they made, the ones that they put up as this is how to do it if you want to. And there's courses and quizzes and the whole deal. And as soon as
shit.
okay. The only way you're gonna make big money and get monetized is if you do that shit.
Oh.
So you have to pass college at YouTube. It actually is a YouTube university.
Okay,
so,
well that's cool.
And no, I haven't done it.
Or the second way to get monetized is just put up a show where you make jokes about eating ass, just hope it gets popular enough. Yeah.
I mean, if that's your lane, man.
Kids love that ass.
So
let me tell you.
Yeah. As a comedian,
Tell you what.
do you find it harder to talk about your craft and be crude and like? 'Cause you're a person that can get away with saying a lot of shit just by your demeanor. It doesn't get. If I said that shit, I'd get fucking beat up. But you can get away with quite a bit. So cheers to you. But is it harder these days? Like the wokeness?
No, not really. I mean, I guess compared to my neighbors, like I'm pretty woke myself, and I always fucking have been. The trick is to just never punch down. Just always punch up. Like just don't fucking punch down on people. Like. It's tough out there, like we talked about, like everybody's just trying to get by, It's easy to make fun of people, but there are enough people to make fun of that, like aren't already struggling,
When you'd be surprised what being on someone's side will actually do. Like,
yeah,
just randomly being on someone's, hey, I got your back. You need your help pushing your car. Here you go. Like,
absolutely. A good example, of like when people talk about, wokeness. When you think about, like trans people, for example. Now, I don't really understand it, but I also recognize that it's not my job to understand it. Like. Nobody gives a fuck if I understand it or not.
Right. Yeah.
And why would they? It's okay to not understand things. What it's not okay is to abridge people's rights or, like persecute them any more than is necessary. And so...
It's more than that. It's to honestly give them the try that they deserve.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, you're right. I agree. And so when, some... hacky comedian is up on stage, just like bagging on trans people, and everybody's just like, yeah, you suck, man. It's not because of cancel culture. It's not because everybody's woke, it's because dude's a dick, That said, I don't have any, hot trans jokes at the ready, but, I would tell one, if it was genuinely funny and didn't, like, punch down, like if it didn't, pile on to the persecution that people feel, but, instead, just something observational or funny about, the lifestyle.
No, I have one that is actually rather interesting.
Okay. We're gonna edit this, and to hear Johan's trans jokes, subscribe to Patreon.
Not jokes.
Oh, okay.
No, I was hiring and I needed an IT tech. And I hired two people. One that on resume worked at Uber and did IT and was awesome, and every box needed to be checked, and he was there and he was okay and he had the experience. The other one was Alexandra, and she was coming out of school, and she went to school up north and got a psychology degree. But when I asked them to sit down at the computer and actually show me how the command prompt worked and show me how to navigate a computer, she was miles ahead of them.
Okay.
So I gave her the chance. I hired her.
Sure.
I hired them both. And she, in 3 days, ran laps around that kid. And he was a total jackass. And, yeah, no, she was awesome. It was nice to be able to give someone the opportunity, in an environment. And
yeah, exactly. Because why wouldn't you? Because, we're all just getting by. But when you talk about, like, cancel culture, people being woke, usually that's the defense of people who just aren't fucking funny. And
of course.
and they blame anybody but themselves, just like mean spirited, like just down punching, nobody thought my racist jokes were funny, cancel culture for you. Everybody's woke. Like, no, you're fucking racist. Like,
yeah.
Fuck you, man.
Sorry, we didn't like racists before you came.
Yeah, it's read the room, dude. I'm sure you'll find your audience somewhere. It ain't California. It's not on the internet. That's for sure. It ain't on Twitter.
There's a group dynamic, and you just ruined it.
Yeah, the notion of cancel culture, it can get a little extreme. I think there should be a path back. For people that get canceled or whatever nomenclature, that you would use.
Yeah, you have
depending on what the offense is.
Respect in your insights to the way that you act and react to people that's different. Most people are not as respectful as you are when it comes to that. So,
yeah,
I can see some people being dicks.
Yeah, people are pretty belligerent these days. That's for sure. On both sides, if you want to look at it as like a red team versus blue team thing, like everybody's just really belligerent. The cancel culture thing, I feel like kind of came as a result of it's all just a straw man argument. Like if I were to argue with somebody, they wouldn't be arguing with the positions that I held or things that I said. They would be arguing with Twitter liberal, and they would assign, every shitty take, that
all the stereotypes,
that they've seen,
all combined in one.
Yeah, and I've tried to, when I would argue with these Trump types, I would find myself, just like putting opinions on them that they never actually expressed personally, and be like, well, okay, that's
putting
not fair.
Extremism on them that they probably
exactly,
that wouldn't otherwise negate their entire stance. I'm trying to in my head formulate a way to just completely rule you out as like, you can't really be that stupid, can you? Like,
right, everybody thinks that like when they talk to a Trump supporter that they're actually talking to the fucking dipshits with the tiki torches or whatnot. It's like, no, these aren't the guys, like there is still such a thing as individuals, but yeah, it's these two collective hive minds arguing with each other and denying every individual their humanity.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, which is, and then everybody gets frustrated because everyone's constantly misrepresented. So yeah, there's plenty of fuckers out there that need to be canceled. I'll be the first in line to do it.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I also feels like a pogrom sometimes. Or just like sort of a just a sweep, like a denial of due process sometimes, and so that's why I say there should be a path back. If somebody, like news came out today, like R. Kelly's going to jail for the rest of his life. Good, fuck that guy.
Yeah, right.
He's canceled for real. But you compare that to like somebody like Louis C.K. or whatnot, who's just who's a creep and a weirdo and absolutely deserves to be canceled, and fuck him. But I can imagine a scenario where he was sufficiently contrite and could be invited back into polite society.
Robert Downey Jr. woke up and fucking high on bong water in some girl's bed or something. The story goes and he came back
100%. Like, that happened. Now he's the biggest movie star.
Right,
there is,
there has to be a path for everyone, right?
Yeah. I definitely support the path back, but the best way not to be canceled is to not be like, oh, everybody's so woke they won't laugh at my fucking Chinaman impression or just like whatever shitty hacky thing that you're doing, and it's like, well, fuck you, man.
Yeah, 1988 call. They want their shitty taste back.
Right. I almost did the eyes. Yeah, I almost got canceled. Yeah.
Don't worry, this is not a live stream.
Yeah, all right.
Only the Patreon supporters get that.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, no, it's great.
Thank you, by the way.
No,
all four of you.
Totally, yeah. I hit a gong and everything. It's a great bit. It's
We'll
really,
put that
it's,
in
it's,
post.
it's really
Yeah.
classy, yeah. Uh,
Good to see you, man.
100%.
Good to be seen. Good to see you. Like, spent a year with no one around and trying to.
What a marvelous time to be alive. these,
Hey.
these strange days. Yeah, no, it's good to be here as well.
And you've been on a whirlwind tour. You got how many days you vacationing?
It's gonna be about a month all in.
Yeah.
I'm already 2 weeks. I left Tuesday the 14th.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've been mobbing around ever since, and
Yeah.
I'll get back probably October 8th. So
How many miles do you think you'll have driven?
8,000 by my calculation.
Ooh, that's a good
I'm
trip.
already at 4. Yeah, no, and I could not have timed it worse. Like the Delta variant notwithstanding. Between the Delta variant and gas prices, this is the worst possible time to be going on this road trip. But it's also the only time that I can pull that rabbit out of my hat. So here I am.
How many miles you got on your truck?
Probably. No, I just checked. Like 66.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah. No, keep it under control.
Yeah.
So I don't drive a ton if I don't have to. I'm
Right,
definitely a walk to the store kind of guy.
Okay.
Yeah,
We all got bikes. We ride around.
Yeah.
Here.
No, I have a sweet Schwinn.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, if you want to branch out into like a Schwinn YouTube channel, I'd like to be on that show as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
I actually had a
Has a
pair
little
of.
bell and everything.
I had a pair of. There were Orange County Chopper scooters that had like wheels, like old school scooter wheels, but they were like super long. They were like low rider choppers, and they were scooters, and they were pretty awesome. And I just sold them 2 months ago.
Oh, sorry, I missed it, man. That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, they were awesome. They had like they had the little yellow dice for the caps on the end of the bike tubes. You know what I'm talking about?
I do.
They'd have, spoke
I know
wheels.
exactly what you're talking about, and that's dope. It's actually it's a blast from the past. Actually, the
Hell
little,
yeah.
the little dice on the inner tube. Yeah, man, that's a classic look.
And there was yellow flames, and they were yellow. I was like, dude, yes. Yeah, they were cool bikes.
I bet the boys were sorry to see him go.
They didn't care.
Well,
No, they're
kids can be surprisingly indifferent sometimes.
They were on to bigger and better things, I guess. Yeah.
like I'm more into this Roblox.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck a bike. I'm playing Fortnite.
That's right. Oh God, do you play Fortnite?
Nah.
Yeah. Call of Duty, just with your brother.
Yeah, I played a little Call of Duty with my brother. The Modern Warfare, but yeah, then the new one came out and they kind of stopped supporting. And then actually Call of Duty kind of turned into like a Fortnite model where it's free to play.
Okay.
It's called like Warzone.
Yeah.
It's the same
Run around
battle royale
scenario,
kind of
yeah.
idea. And it's not as fun, because all it takes is one person who's like, I've devoted my life to being the best at this game and to make sure that it's
right.
not fun for anyone else in the
Sniper.
world. And it's like, cool, way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
So glad to play with you, buddy.
yeah, I was like, wow, this is a really enriching use of my time. So you get to decide, like, well, am I going to make the same commitment and devote my life to beating this asshole?
That's
Or am I going to walk away?
And
Yeah.
so you're saying that game was Call of Duty for you? That game was GoldenEye for me.
No. It wasn't that game for me. I walked away. I chose the latter option. Right? No, but
I'm just saying it was years ago. I was like, there's no way I can keep up with these guys. I'm just not. That is not my skill set. Like, I'll just pick something else. Mario Kart, sure.
I like playing games, but for me, I live alone. Or practically.
Relatively. Yeah.
And I just play like strategy games, like Civilization, stuff like that, where it's just like a week-long campaign of like micromanaging and just like sitting there,
In situ
drinking
resource
beer, listening to
utilization.
podcasts, and just tending my civilization. Like that's my jam actually. It's turn-based, the kind of game where you can like get up and walk away and take a shit without ever even having to pause it.
Nice.
It's not a problem.
I've never played those games.
Yeah.
Not to the extent that I should.
Well, no, you probably shouldn't. You know, it's a time suck.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you can avoid it, that's probably the best path.
Right.
They got the hooks in for me.
Hey, it's better than drugs, right, kids?
But also great with drugs.
Yeah.
Oh my
Okay.
God. Yeah,
Good.
totally.
Just a
two
little
go together.
microdose into your ice
Oh
cream.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, 100.
That one's for you, Micah.
Yeah, no, I just like fucking slam fentanyl and be like, all right, Civ 6, I'm doing it.
These Sims are coming alive. Yep, I rarely play video. Like Mario Party with my kids is about as deep as we get. We got Mario Golf. You know, that one's.
That's legit, actually. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
There's something. Do you remember you and I used to play Hot Shots golf
Yeah.
back in the day on the old PlayStation back in Katati? It's just basically the same game.
It really is. Yeah, like it's not hard.
Yeah, except without our beloved Mario characters. You know, like it'll always be like some generic like anime dude.
Yeah, right.
Golfing
Doo, doo,
and
doo.
and like if you can be Wario instead, like
Yeah, you know you're gonna.
be Wario
Yeah, right,
instead.
why-
You know, it's the
Why'd they even make that other game? I don't get it.
fuck are we even doing here, people? Like you could be Wario. You can be Wario.
I was a Waluigi man. Hey!
Waluigi, I don't know. Like that's. See, you got the moves, and I respect that. But Waluigi was when Nintendo jumped the shark. What's a Waluigi? Get the fuck out of here.
That's what I like about it.
So stupid.
It really was, yeah.
Waluigi. I don't know. I can't get behind
You were
Waluigi.
shattering my hopes and dreams of being a villain here. I don't know.
You like Wa Johan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Wah!
Wow.
I'm gonna win.
It's a me. Why, Johan?
So yeah, we were covering some interesting topics earlier. I want to turn it back on you.
Yeah, please.
When you envision a future, I'm curious. Your perspective is different as a father. And your responsibilities, are different as a father.
Yeah, absolutely.
You and I are in different boats in a lot of respects, and so I'm just sort of curious about your vision of the future and
Sure. Fine question. To get back to the bleakness, I don't think that I still see that there is a future where it's bleak. I would probably push it 20 to 40 years further than you would.
Okay.
I think we're talking 2100 before that really sets into effect. I think my kids' age will be grandparents before it really gets bad.
I hope so.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
But I still put them through Cub Scouts. They know how to tie knots. They know how to. We actually went out and went camping with my best friend down here, and we sat there and started fires with magnesium. Like, this is how you do it in the woods, kids. Like, and taught all 5 of our kids how to do it. And
That's awesome.
yeah, I hope for the best, but plan for some semblance of my kids being responsible. I would say that I probably am more somber and serious with them than I should be. I should have a little more levity and be more dad-like and not be so, you need to be paying attention and be a good kid all the time, right? Like, I'm probably one of the more strict dads,
Right.
which is weird,
Yeah. Nobody expected that, but yeah,
the pendulum swings, right? My kids probably aren't the happiest about it, but I don't get people being like, dude, your kid was over there fucking with my kid. Like, people don't come up and talk to me about my kids being assholes,
Right.
And I'm like, look, there's a time and a place, so I could probably have more levity with how I treat my kids, but they're at least going to be respectful. So
yeah.
in the future, do I see a future for them? Yeah, they'll go to college. They'll be able to do that. I'm going to put them through that. It's going to be on autopilot. Shit goes by so fast. It's already.
Sure does.
We're talking 3 years before by the time I see you again, my kids will be driving.
Yeah.
Like, that's how quick it goes. So, yes, I think it's happening. No, it's not going to be World War Z in, the next 5 years. It's not happening. There's no way. There's too many people still making money on the current situation that they're not going to let go that easy.
Yeah, fair point.
Follow the money, and it's not going anywhere for a minute. And that's what I was kind of trying to allude to that earlier. As soon as they, figure out a way to shift gears and make their trillions somewhere else, that's what's going to be the next big thing. I think it will be space mining. I do.
Space mining?
Yep.
Get the fuck out of here.
Go grab an asteroid and bring it back, and fucking you got trillions of dollars.
Yeah, I guess, like we're already, kind of shutting that down,
That shit's moving faster than bureaucracy and fucking fixing our freeways.
What's moving faster is fucking satellite swarms that we're throwing in. Space trash and space junk is becoming such a huge problem that we're going to end up with Saturn-like rings of fucking trash. It's going to prevent us from, actually achieving the space travel that everybody's hanging their hat on. It's the latest frontier of pollution, and it's just another concern.
It's space. There's a lot of it.
Sure. There's a lot of space, but gravity is also a factor as well. And when you just have like all these tiny little scraps of broken satellites, that will fall into a predictable orbit, around your planet, and they're just moving as fast as bullets, like trying to escape the orbit, and again, this is sort of a bleak, prediction, and it's not necessarily mine. And so I do have to check in with myself and say, like, every potential bad thing is not necessarily going to happen.
Right.
But many people are theorizing that we're actually going to hamstring our ability to even get off the planet with all these satellite swarms, which we don't need and are going to be obsolete by the time. Like, we are filling our orbit with trash.
Don't need them.
Yeah. We're never gonna colonize Mars in our lifetime. We're never gonna colonize Mars at all.
You don't think so?
People, I mean, maybe in like 500 years. If
I
that,
see us
but
sending someone to Mars in our lifetime.
Oh, sure, okay, yeah, probably, and then hey, there's a guy on Mars, and be like, hey, check it out, you're on Mars. That'd
and
be
he's
great.
Not coming back.
But in terms of like
Matt Damon.
Exactly. No, I believe that, but when we talk about actually colonizing Mars, when people look and like, well, maybe Mars is a solution. It's like that's dumb. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Is people that think,
Mars is running away and hiding in a cave. Mars is not a fucking solution.
Totally. Like oh man, we messed up.
What are you
planet.
gonna eat, huh? That's Mars.
Let's terraform Mars. And the fuck are you talking
you
about?
Can't even
Like
fix
that's
fucking Philadelphia. You want to terraform Mars? Get the fuck out of here.
Exactly. No, but I shit you not. There are people that genuinely believe that. Some of these people are billionaires.
And that's my point. It's like these billionaires, like Bezos is not going to stop. He is going to be mining shit in space. He is going to be throwing his considerable fortune at gambles. And one of those gambles is going to be sending fucking dumb dipshits out into space. You go tether a fucking rock and you bring it back. Oh, that rock happens to be made out of platinum. Thanks.
Yeah. Huh.
And
that would work. Well, that's one way to devalue platinum, but that might bite him in the ass.
Yes and no, though, because if we get to a point where our resource utilization needs it, and we're making so many circuit boards and shit that need high-end metals in them, then
no, you're right.
Like, it could very well be the boom and bust that changes. Like if titanium cost pennies, then we'd make a lot more shit. Like
true. Now, let me back up. Why's it got to be dumb dipshits that go into space? Like, where's this contempt for astronauts come from?
Have you watched The Expanse?
No.
It just seems that the people that colonize the outer planets are going to be the working class. They're going to be the people that are expendable. They're going to be the Clavons of the world.
Fair enough. I have not seen The Expanse, but I have seen a little movie called Armageddon. So I think I'm picking up what you're laying down. Yeah.
Well,
keep sending Bruce Willis into space to solve all our problems.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, I can dig it.
And don't forget crazy Steve Buscemi. Like that's always a lot of problems.
Space madness. Oh.
God, he was bad in that.
I was like the Ren and Stimpy episode of Space Madness, and then Armageddon came out, and Steve Buscemi kind of looks like Stimpy.
Yeah,
or,
right.
Ren, I should say.
The skinny one.
Yeah.
Whichever
also,
one.
Also got the Space Madness. Yeah.
So, future. I don't see the United States fixing their government anytime soon.
No.
I don't see. There does not seem to be an incentive for them to change. So, I don't see that changing. So it's just more of the same. So I'm going to spend my time hustling for myself and using this opportunity to be like, dude, you're white, male, in your 40s, in America, in California, with your own business. You won the fucking $4 trillion to 1 lottery. Just run with it,
Totally.
So that's what I'm gonna do.
Acknowledge that you have privilege and use it. Yeah,
right, exactly.
That's fine. Yeah.
So, and teach my kids how to do the same thing. Teach whatever I can to make a YouTube channel, and like I've been able to help some people do this. I won't say I'm an expert in any realm, but giving people the bootstraps to be able to start has certainly been something that I can do and am effective with. So that's been good for my whole YouTube thing as well. You were asking me off camera here kind of where I see my channel going, and yeah, being an automotive journalist, I guess sharing my opinions, but more just being able to share information that I can find from credible sources and find information. So yeah, automotive journalism, general tech journalism, be a talking head, I guess.
Love it.
Yeah.
Fun fact for everybody: this guy taught me how to drive.
Oh yeah, I did.
My man.
Shoot, what car was it?
Was that the Taurus?
I think it was.
Yeah, it was your Ford Taurus. Yeah.
Yeah. Oof. It's a white, like 91 or 92 Ford Taurus V6. The girl that I got it from, Jen, she worked at the Olive Garden with me, and she was commuting to San Francisco to do Culinary Academy, and it started having transmission problems, so she was like, I'm going to donate the car. I was like, I'll buy it for $50. And she sold it to me for $50, and her mom was okay with it. And she was like 17, and it was amazing. And she was awesome. And yeah, I ended up fixing the car up a little bit and
sold it to me.
Sold it to this guy and taught him how to drive.
So he taught me how to drive and taught me a healthy contempt for Ford Tauruses.
Yes. Yeah. Don't buy those cars. That was bad. Front wheel drive Ford transmission was not good. I've been thinking that I need a list of all the cars that I've owned in the background, like that would just one day be able to have that compiled.
You had that Subaru for a while.
Dude, that Subaru was awesome.
Yeah, it sure was. Whatever happened to that? Did it just give up the ghost one day?
Trying to remember what happened to my Subaru. Did I sell it?
I feel like you would know.
Yeah, I think it must have died. I know I blew a head gasket in it, or not the head, the timing belt. I'm just wondering if I fixed it after that. I've had a little too much wine this evening to remember.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
it was a good car. He had a nice Subaru.
92 wagon. Battery is running low, so I guess we got to wrap it up.
Oh, I guess so. Oh, yep. There's the indicator.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought you were just making that up.
No.
Yeah.
Bam.
Charge the battery pack.